Hey everybody, this is Roman from Romesbbq. I want to thank everybody first liking the page and on Facebook, and also my Instagram and Twitter. I'm also going to be on Snapchat, and I'll be coming out with some short videos. So thank you to everybody that's liked the page. Went ahead and want to do another video on ribs. I got a lot of requests on kind of the process of what to do and how to do it. So I'm going to kind of go through a little bit slower and get a little bit more detailed with it. That's just based on the feedback that I've gotten from the page. So I normally do the St. Louis style ribs, but today I'm going to do just the regular baby backs. They were on sale. That's what's on special, a little bit cheaper, and these ones are really good. They're Smithfield, so they got a lot of meat on them, and they're not very fatty at all. But you do want some fat on some pork ribs because you do want that to be able to kind of melt down and keep the ribs moist. So I'm going to go ahead and go through the process again. I've already, of course, sanitized using the dry hand, wet hand method. Sanitize the board, sanitize. You got to sanitize everything. You just don't want to get anybody sick. And some of you may be wondering, if I do have a food handler's card. Yes, I do. I'll be, pretty soon here upgrading it to a manager's food handler's card to make sure I get those credentials. Okay. Tools I have today, something very basic. Just a regular chef's knife, cutting boards, paper towels. I have the seasoning I did on my last video that contains cracked pepper, garlic salt, onion powder, the paprika, some celery seed, and also some brown sugar. So it's very simple. Oh, kosher salt as well. So it's pretty simple. We don't get too complicated around here. I think the spices I have in it now are a little much, but that makes it the look of the rib a lot nicer. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to go ahead and go with some olive oil this time. Last video I saw, you guys probably saw me put some mustard in. You can do that. It does help with the smoke ring. Doesn't give any flavor to the ribs, so it's not a really big deal. Olive oil I find is very nice as well. You just want to drizzle a little bit up on top and just kind of massage the ribs with it a little bit. It also gives the ribs a nice crust on the outside with the olive oil. So on the back side, we'll do in just a moment. We're not going to season them yet, because what you want to do first, okay, is you really want to make sure that you get this membrane off the back, okay? Now, the reason why we recommend that is because that does not cook down. That does not do anything for you. It's not good eating. It doesn't do anything else. It stops the flavor and the heat from getting into the middle of the ribs. So we do highly recommend that you do take a little bit of time to go ahead and take that membrane off. So what I'm doing is I'm just going ahead and I'm going to the middle of the rib, sticking my knife under it. You can see the little small thin film. And you just kind of start scraping at it just to kind of be able to get your finger inside there. And once you're able to do that, you want to grab a paper towel with your dry hand and lift up while your finger goes under it. And then you're able to get through the middle. Be careful not to tear it, because then you're going to have to tear it off piece by piece. This does come off all in one piece, and that's the easiest way to do it, just to save time. So now, there's that membrane. It looks weird, but it does nothing for your smoke, for your ribs. So now all I'm going to do is just trim up a little bit. On these ones, you don't trim too much. You don't have to. There's little pieces of hanging meat. You can trim those off because they will burn. They will not do anything for you as well. Some of this excess fat you can trim off. So again, not a lot of trimming, just kind of making it look pretty. You want to make sure that you even it out. So if you take a sharp knife, you just kind of slowly go through the top of this just to make sure that it's all even. You want to make sure you cut away from your body, not towards it like I just did. You want to cut away and cut slowly so that you get a nice even surface. And if you happen to see some of this silver stuff, this is actually called silver skin. I don't think you can see it, but that is something that will not cook down either. So you want to take some of that off the top as much as possible. And of course, whenever you buy ribs, there's generally going to be a side of the rib that is going to be the thinnest. So I'm just trimming some off the top very thinly, very thinly, just to even it off. So when the smoke goes over this, it goes through, and it doesn't take as much time on the fatter side to cook the meat. So whenever you're doing ribs, you can definitely make sure that both sides are evenly cooked when they're both even. So just to give you again a visual, you want to look down the rib, you want to see that it's nice and flat all the way through, and I think I've accomplished that. This side part here, I do take off a little bit more because again, that's going to be the end that is going to take a longer time. It's going to take a little bit longer to cook on this side. You don't want to cut all of it off, but you want to again kind of look at it and then see how flat it is, and you don't want this side to be thicker than this side. So that's as pretty technical as I get. I don't get too much more technical as that, more than that. So, good looking ribs, Smithfields. This is again my first. No, this is the 5th time I bought them, and they look pretty good. They don't look very skimpy. They just have a lot of meat. Yes, I am trimming some of this meat off, but it's again off the back end. That's not going to cook all the way through evenly. So you want to trim it down just a little bit. Not too much, just to make sure that you have a nice flat rib. And you can feel it when you rub your hand over it off the top. You can feel that there's no big ridges or bumps, and that's what you really want to see. And that's what you want to feel on these ribs here. So olive oil at the top, olive oil on the bottom. Very nice. So now I got the Romesbbq rub here. And what I'm going to go ahead and do is sprinkle this. So you want to be careful because the ingredients that I use, like the garlic salt and the kosher salt and the onion salt, the celery salt, they do have some saltiness to it. So you want to be careful on how much you really put because you don't want salty ribs. And it may not look like I'm putting a lot on, and you've probably seen a lot of videos on YouTube to generously just drench it and get it all murdered in that spices. With mine, it has enough flavor with the amount of spices that it has, so you don't have to do that. I'm going to flip it up to the other side. You want to slowly do this. You don't want to just pour it on and try and get it over with. When you're doing competition stuff, when I do competition stuff, you got to be really, really delicate. You got to be really, really careful on how it looks. You have to worry about how it's going to taste when those judges put it in their mouth. Last year did pretty good in chicken, 4th place. Ribs, not so much. So definitely chicken's going to be the next practice that I'm going to be doing here. So what you're looking is for a nice, thin, even layer. And you see me patting it down so that just so it embeds itself in the meat and it attaches to the olive oil. So that's a pretty darn good looking rack right there. And there we go. Please post any questions and visit my page at www.facebook.com/Romesbbq7.com and look for updates. Romesbbq.com coming soon, so look out for that. Thank you.